There's a lot of culture and history when it comes to the Carson Newman baseball team. A lot of culture and history that we're about to find out now.
But really, when it really started to come about, as far as the records and things go, in 1960s, Frosty Holt was a longtime coach here, well known throughout the area as a successful coach, not only in baseball, but in other sports here at Carson Newman. Had a lot of successful teams. When he retired, Bobby Wilson took over, and Bobby led Carson Newman to the 1965 World Series championship in NAIA, which was the first championship in Carson Newman history. Coach Wilson had a real long run here of winning conference and regional championships. Gary Rundles took over after him, and Gary had one of the most successful tenures, not only in the NAIA conference they were in, but also when he made the transition to Division II. Gary Rundles was, the leading force and one of the leading coaches in the South Atlantic Conference baseball. So you take those gentlemen, they had longevity, they had success, they were producing quality student athletes, they were producing guys that played professional baseball. Keith Kessinger came in for a couple of years. Coach Acord came in after him, had a good run with some regional appearances. So in the East Tennessee, Southeast region, Carson Newman is a product people recognize as excellence on and off the field.
The team's history is everywhere, from championships to final rankings. Everywhere you walk, you see a glimpse of Carson Newman's history and Carson Newman's success. There's been a lot of great baseball players to come through Carson Newman, but sitting down with Coach Griffin, there's been one player in particular that came to mind first that has went on to do bigger and better things.
Well, during, my tenure that I've been here, we've had quite a few. I mean, if you're talking about professional baseball, Steve Cishek is a young man who came in our program and developed and became a draft pick for the Miami Marlins, and now just finished his 11th year in professional baseball. So seeing how he matured and growed in our program and then continued that in professional baseball and have the success that he's had in professional baseball as a reliever, that's obviously very gratifying as a coach. But we've had a lot of players here who've been successful on the field, successful off the field. And Robert, the thing that's pretty cool is you see these guys in becoming fathers and husbands and how well they're doing in raising a family. As proud as we are of Steve and his accomplishments as a professional pitcher, we're just as proud of all the guys who have become great fathers, husbands, great employers, great employees in different professions. And we've got a wide variety of guys who work different areas of professions. So, but professionally speaking, Steve would be that guy.
Throughout the baseball team's history, they have had numbers of championships, Player of the Years, and All-Americans, which shows you that becoming an Eagle here is not an easy task to do. Players like to give back in any way possible. Assistant Coach Roberts tells you his views of the program of when he was a player and now as a coach.
So Carson Newman baseball has a rich history. I came in the fall of 2012, played for 4 years, and now this is my 4th year coaching. While I was a player, I was educated about the national championship team from 1965. Guys on that team like Clyde Wright, Roy Hill, those guys would come back and they showed their face. We got to meet them. Gene Lively, just a lot of guys that we talked about, and as you can see, they're still stuck in my head. Then I know the 93 team and the 99 team both made it to the World Series. Steve Cishek came and played here. When I was in high school in South Florida, Steve Cishek was playing on the Marlins. I was committed to come to Carson Newman, and from Steve knowing that I was coming to Carson Newman and being in South Florida, he didn't even know me at all, but he set up a kind of a visit and meet with him, and I went to a game and he talked to me just because we had the Carson Newman family in common, so that was awesome. That shows kind of how big and tight Carson Newman baseball history is. And since I've been here, we've been competitive. We've had bunch of guys go on to play pro ball, a lot of draft picks, a lot of all-conference selections. And then lastly, I'll hit on just the history of the coaches here between Frosty Holt, Bobby Wilson, Brent Acord. We got Tom Griffin now. Just a lot of great coaches that have come through Carson Newman and have really led this program since it's been established.
Every player and coach that has been through the Carson Newman baseball program knows of the culture of the baseball team and of the set of standards that has been set down from generation of generation.
And the culture of Carson Newman kind of sets the standards, and it's basically being a Christian university. So our guidelines and our purpose are a direct relationship to being a Christian, and I guess what we use is basically the playbook, which is the Bible, as kind of our standard of how we're going to conduct ourselves on and off the field. So I think the Christian part of things of coaching is a big part of this university and coaching here. I think it's also about the servant heart that we have here as a university, as well as each sport, and especially with baseball, is how we're serving others. Those are two of the kind of the guiding things we use, the Christian walk and the servant heart.
There are 3 keys each and every player has used and remembered with being on the Carson Newman baseball team.
We use 3 rules basically that guide what we want to do each and every day. Number 1 is be your best on and off the field and in your everyday life. Number 2, do what's right. And that could be, obviously what your parents have taught you, what your teachers, coaches have taught you, but obviously the Bible has got all the guidelines for us. And the last thing is treat others the way you want to be treated. We believe if you do those 3 things, not only do you lead a productive life, but you also know how to lead a servant life.
Well, I hope you have learned a lot about the baseball team and all that they are about. With that, all I have to say is talons up.